Hey guys, I'm back again. It's the weekend. We're about to take the kids out to probably the beach. It's still April, but it's sunny day. But so even on the weekends, I have to do these videos because it's non-stop in this country. I did a video yesterday saying I feel literally as an American citizen, and I have friends all over the world that agree with me. Looking in from outside, looking in, they said, yeah, you guys like stuck in a time loop of police brutality and mass shootings. Like, get it together, right? And I don't think it's gonna be solved soon. Now, on the news this morning, on both sides, CNN and Fox News seem to be putting this in Biden. Joe Biden is not doing anything about this, right? And the way they say it's like Joe Biden created this issue, right? And he's not fixing it. Now, and they do the same thing with the border crisis, right? Joe Biden didn't create the border crisis. He just happens to be president at the time when it's an issue, right? He didn't create the gun control issue, right? Second Amendment people, NRA, Republicans, want everyone to have guns and everyone to have gun rights, right? While supporting the police, who are always seem to be fearing for their lives if they encounter someone with a gun. So I don't understand how that's where the loop of nonsense starts. So it's Biden gave a speech a few weeks ago on the White House lawn, or in the White House, about what he wants for gun control. Right? The minute that speech ended, I didn't even get to see the replay of the speech before my Facebook was littered with comments from Ted Cruz and Republican friends saying their government is coming to take the guns away and the government is canceling Biden is canceling guns and Second Amendment rights and rights as American citizens. So it's an issue when Biden wanted to do something about it, but now it happens again. And this is like the 29th mass shooting of the year. And we're in April, right? Where multiple people died from some crazy person with a gun. Right? And we want to say Biden's not doing anything, but when Biden tries to do something, the people on the right is like, no, don't take our rights away. Meanwhile, voting rights are being stripped all the time, but the same Second Amendment rights people don't say anything about that. That's First Amendment rights. That's zero. Voting rights are zero amendment rights. If you want to number the rights that we have as citizens, from most important to least, voting rights would be more important than the second and the first, right? It's almost like zero. It's like before first, right? It's the top of the list. But that don't bother Republicans and Second Amendment rights nuts, right? Because you guys are nuts. You're nuts. You want everyone to own guns because the solution to all of Americans' problem is a white guy or a guy with a gun, right? Because we're in we're in John Wayne, right? We're in a John Wayne era. We're a good guy with the gun. I was just watching Wyatt Earp in the next room with my son. I think Kevin Costner's in that. And I was like laughing. I'm like, this is like where we are now. We haven't come anywhere from the Wild West, right? The guy with the gun comes into town, he has a badge or whatever, and he solves everyone's problems, right? And we think that's where we still live in, right? Right? Technology. We have technology, surrounded by technology that could do the same thing as a gun, that could replace a gun, right? And that's the issue. Like, you can't. I don't even care who you blame. I know Joe Biden is not. He doesn't give a crap. He just wants what's best for everyone. But I think my problem with the Democrats now, post-Trump, is that if I was in office, if I was a politician, I'd be going after these Republicans hard, right? Said yesterday, a few days ago, I did a video of the four groups in this country. We have Republican Democratic voters, Republican Democratic politicians. Of those four individual groups, the people that get hurt the most is Republican voters. Because every voting cycle, they always feel disenfranchised and they need to make America great again for themselves, right? And these are your coal miners, your oil and gas industry minimum wage workers, your people that work at Walmart in like the South, right? These are these people that needed Donald Trump for them because Republicans don't do crap for them already. And wait, that's, if you think about it, that's why Donald Trump wasn't president. Because Republican politicians don't do anything for their voters but blame Democratic politicians when you lose your job, right? When you can't get access to health care, when you can't get this, when you can't get that. It's the Democrats that's doing that to you. That's all Republican politicians do, right? Since Trump's been in office, I've been watching Republican politics. Mitch McConnell, I've been watching all of them, right? They wanted to get rid of Obamacare. And that's the funniest thing. Of all the things you want to study in the Trump era, look at the Obamacare issue, right? If you want to sum up Republican politics and politicians, look at the Obamacare issue. They wanted to get rid of Obamacare and and when they realized to get rid of it meant millions and millions of people would lose health care like that, right? For whatever reason, they wanted to get rid of it. I don't know why. But millions of their voters would just not have health care anymore. And a lot of those Republican voters, the big tobacco, big oil, coal digging people, they have health issues, right? You get rid of their health care, you lose a lot of your voters. They realized they couldn't do that, so they had to lie and say, we'll replace it with something else. And for 4 years, Trump said, we'll replace it with something else. I have a plan. They had no plan. No plan. The education secretary, what did she do for 4 years? Nothing, right? Trump got rid of the postal general master and put his friend in that position. What did he do? He messed everything up just to screw up with the mail-in ballots, right? These people have no plans for them, for people that vote for them. All they seem to do is put their rich friends first, right? A lot of Republican politicians are in positions they are in because their rich friends put them there, right? I own a golf course. I own a My Pillow company. I want my rich friends in office so I could get away with shit, so I could get tax breaks. And that's it, right? Republican politicians don't really get voted in office. They get bought into office, if you want to say that. Because when they're in office, they don't speak for people at work, working class people. Ted Cruz could lie and dance and stage a TPAC and say, we're for the working class, right? In March, he leaves when Texas is hit with a snowstorm, right? He bounces. He's not for them. He's not for you guys. He's in Cancun. Oh, and then he blames his daughters for it, right? That's what Republicans do. They blame everything else and everyone else. I've never seen a group of people, Jewish space lasers. They just pull at everything to throw blame at anything Democratic regarding the politics, right? Right? Tax breaks for poor middle class people. Oh, that's socialism. Tax breaks for rich people. Oh, that's patriotic, right? BS, right? And I want people to come on my channel and if you disagree with me, comment down below, right? Because my opinions is based on what I see. I don't generate anything. I don't have like a idea generated in the back of my head. It's what I see. I call it as it is, right? Come at me, guys. Come at me. Let me know why you vote Republican. I really want to know, because they don't do anything for you guys. And you guys get the shortest end of the stick in this country. Republican voters. I feel sorry for you, because every election cycle, you guys always feel disenfranchised. You always feel like something went wrong. Before I go, one good example. When Hillary Clinton lost the 2016 election, all Democratic voters did was cry because of all the things Donald Trump kind of promised. We knew what he was about. So we cried. We were sad. We didn't storm the Capitol. We didn't do crazy shit like that because it wasn't... For us, like, I have tons of people that voted Democrats that actually came out of Trump's presidency richer than they were before Trump, right? You know, my family came out of it all right, right? We would never vote for Trump and never vote Republican as far as I could see going ahead, right? But regardless of if the president is Republican or Democrat, we will come ahead because, one, we're educated, right? We're mobile, right? If shit hits the fan here, we could pick up and move. We have savings, we could go, right? We have health care. We could afford health care. We don't dig coal for a living. We don't do jobs for a living where Republicans want you to work without health insurance. We tend to stay away from that, right? Education is important to us, more so than owning a gun, right? Healthcare is important to us, right? More so than big tobacco getting tax breaks, right? Right? Or Coca-Cola getting tax breaks, right? So the things that are important to us kind of shields us in a way, in a weird way, from Republican politics, right? Right? Owning a gun is not important to me. Like I said, if I need to own a gun to live where I live, most likely I would move somewhere else, right? I grew up in a poor neighborhood in Brooklyn, East New York, for part of my childhood, right? Back then, owning a gun would have probably been something I needed, but I was able to survive. My parents were able to survive. My mom was able to survive. My brother, right? without having to own a gun in probably one of the most dangerous neighborhoods at the most dangerous time in history in this country, right? Without owning a gun, right? Now I live in the suburbs. I don't want to own a gun ever. I don't want my kids to feel like they have to grow up owning guns to protect themselves, right? On a day-to-day basis, right? So if that's important to Republican voters, I feel sorry for you guys, because while you're polishing your guns, and I've seen this cartoon, while Republicans voters are polishing their guns, Donald Trump was giving tax breaks to rich people, and then they look at the poor Republican voter polishing his gun and saying, at least you guys got your gun rights. Democrats will come and take your guns away. And they're putting money in their pocket while you guys are worried about your guns. Right? Wake up, America, wake up. Republican voters, this channel should actually be for you guys, right? Because you don't trust the media, you don't trust this and that, you don't trust science, right? You gotta trust somebody. Trust me.